Imagine you're standing on a beach, looking out at the ocean. The waves are rolling in, sometimes calm and gentle, sometimes wild and chaotic. Now, think about this. Your mood is just like a wave. In one moment, you might feel calm, peaceful, and content. In the next, you might feel overwhelmed, anxious, or even angry. But here's the truth. Your mood is not the ocean. It's just a wave. It's temporary, ever-changing, and fleeting. What if I told you that you don't have to identify with the waves of your emotions? What if you could learn to observe them rather than getting caught up in them? The power is in recognizing that your mood is not who you are. It's just a passing experience. Stay with me as we dive deeper into why your mood is a wave, not the ocean, and how understanding this can help you find emotional freedom and clarity. Emotions can feel intense. One moment, you're riding a high, feeling excited and energized. The next, you're crashing down, overwhelmed by sadness, frustration, or anxiety. It's easy to think that your mood defines you, but I'm here to tell you that your mood is temporary, and it's not the whole picture. Imagine the ocean for a moment. It's vast, endless, and ever-present. But the waves that rise and fall, they are fleeting. They come and go, but the ocean itself remains constant. Your mood is just like a wave. It might be big and crashing one moment, but it will eventually recede. When you understand this, you begin to see that your emotional state is just a temporary reaction, not the true essence of who you are. You are the ocean, not the waves. Today, we're going to explore how this simple truth can bring you a sense of emotional freedom. You'll learn how to detach from the turbulence of your moods, and instead, learn to ride the waves with greater awareness and control. Let's begin with this simple but powerful truth. Your mood is temporary. It rises, it falls, and it eventually recedes, just like a wave. But often we mistake these emotional surges for our permanent state. We believe that how we feel in a given moment is who we are. We say things like, "I am angry," or "I'm sad," as if those emotions define our essence. In reality, moods are like waves. They come and go. Some waves are big and crashing, while others are small and gentle. But the ocean, your true, steady self, remains unshaken beneath the surface. Your emotions, no matter how strong they are in the moment, are simply temporary responses to external events or internal thoughts. Think about the ocean for a second. It's vast, enduring, and constant. But the waves, no matter how intense they may seem, don't change the fact that the ocean is always there. Similarly, your emotions, though they may feel all-consuming at times, do not define your true essence. You are not your mood. You are the observer, the one who notices the waves, but you are not the waves themselves. This understanding is the first step toward emotional freedom, realizing that your mood is just a temporary fluctuation, not a permanent marker of who you are. When you grasp this, you begin to detach from the emotional roller coaster that can so often feel like your entire reality. Now let's dive deeper. Moods shape your perception of reality. When you're in a certain emotional state, you begin to see the world through that emotional lens. If you're in a bad mood, everything around you seems frustrating. People's words feel sharper, situations feel more challenging, and even the smallest obstacles feel insurmountable. On the flip side, when you're in a good mood, everything seems brighter, lighter, and more positive. You might overlook small inconveniences because your emotional state is one of calm or joy. You may notice the beauty of a sunset, hear the laughter of a child, or appreciate the kindness of a stranger. Your mood acts as a filter, making the world seem different depending on how you feel. This is where things get tricky. We begin to attach meaning to everything based on how we feel. When you feel anxious or fearful, for example, your mind starts seeking out things that confirm your fear. You might think, "That person didn't respond to my message because they're mad at me," or "That event is going to be a disaster." Your mind starts to build a narrative that aligns with the emotion you're experiencing, and it distorts reality in the process. This is called cognitive bias, the tendency to perceive the world through the lens of our emotional states. And the more we identify with our moods, the more the world around us begins to feel like it is governed by those emotions. If we're angry, everything feels unjust. If we're sad, everything feels heavy. And if we're anxious, everything feels uncertain. But here's the crucial point. This emotional distortion is not the truth. It's the product of our mood at that moment. The ocean is still there beneath the waves, calm and unchanging. But we often forget that. Let's talk about the dangers of identifying with your mood. When you believe that you are your mood, it becomes difficult to separate yourself from the emotion. You start thinking that you are angry, sad, or anxious, rather than recognizing that you are simply feeling those emotions in the moment. When you identify with your mood, you begin to act from it. For example, when you feel angry, you may snap at people or make decisions that you later regret. When you're feeling insecure or sad, you might withdraw from others, become overly self-critical, or avoid taking necessary action. Your moods dictate your responses, and that can lead to behavior that doesn't align with your true self. When your mood is driving your actions, you are no longer in control. You let the waves carry you. Instead of being the observer of your emotions, you become completely swept up in them. And when you allow that to happen, you start to see the world as a reflection of your inner turmoil. You start to believe that the world is always against you, or that you'll never be happy again, or that things will never improve. But when you can learn to detach from your emotions and recognize them as temporary waves, you can stop reacting impulsively. You regain your ability to respond with intention, not just from the emotional storm. So, how do we begin to break free from this cycle? How do we start riding the waves rather than letting them drown us? It all starts with awareness. The moment you begin to notice your mood, you can step back and observe it without judgment. When you feel that emotional surge, instead of immediately reacting, you can pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this way? This simple act of awareness creates space between you and the wave of emotion. Instead of letting the wave control you, you can recognize it as temporary. The more you practice this awareness, the more you realize that you are not your emotions. You are the observer of your emotions. And when you step back, you create the freedom to respond, rather than reacting from impulse. The next step is acceptance. Emotions, no matter how intense they are natural. When you accept them without resistance, you give yourself permission to feel them without being overwhelmed. Remember, the wave will always pass, and so will the emotional intensity. Finally, you can begin to release the emotion. Acknowledge it, feel it fully, and then let it go. By releasing it, you prevent it from building up and becoming a bigger wave that disrupts your peace. When you detach from your emotions, you allow yourself to feel them without being controlled by them. You give yourself the freedom to experience life as it is, without being swept away by every wave that rises. You can still experience the highs and lows of life, but they no longer control your actions, your thoughts, or your sense of self. You become the observer, the one who rides the waves with grace, rather than the one who is pulled under. This freedom comes when you realize that your true nature is like the ocean, vast, infinite, and steady. Your moods are just the waves, temporary, fleeting, and ultimately harmless. When you embrace this understanding, you create a foundation of emotional freedom that allows you to navigate life's ups and downs with clarity, resilience, and inner peace. If you've made it this far, I want you to reflect on something. What emotional waves are you currently riding? Are there moods that are overwhelming you, or are you able to observe them with awareness and detachment? I encourage you to take action today. The next time you feel a strong emotion rising, remember, your mood is a wave, not the ocean. Take a moment to observe it. Let it rise, and then let it pass, knowing that it's only temporary. If this video resonated with you, like it to support this journey of emotional freedom. Comment below and share how you've been able to detach from your moods and ride the waves of life with more awareness. I'd love to hear your story. And don't forget to subscribe to Awaken Your Essence to continue exploring ways to live a life of emotional clarity, balance, and peace. Together, we can learn to be present with our emotions without getting swept away by them. Remember, you are the ocean. Your moods are just the waves. Stay grounded, stay aware, and let's awaken together. Thank you for being part of this journey.